Welcome to Naresh IT Technologies. Today let us discuss a concept called clocks. Let us discuss the different questions that are asked in this chapter in written tests. Now let us discuss the first question. What is the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 3:25? Now to tell the answer for this question, there are two different ways. One is directly you can tell the answer by using a formula. The second one is you can tell the answer without using a formula. Now let us try to tell the answer without using a formula. The hands of a clock generally they move around a circle. Now the total angle in a circle is 360 degrees. So the total angle in a clock will be 360 degrees. Now the basic points that we must know to answer this question without using a formula. Total angle in a clock is 360 degrees. Now the circumference of the clock is divided into 12 equal parts called hour spaces. Now you can clearly see those 12 hour spaces 1, 2, 3 and so on. You have totally 12 hour spaces in a clock. Now what would be the angle in each hour space? Angle in each hour space will be equal to 360 divided by 12, that is 30 degrees. So each hour space in a clock has an angle of 30 degrees. Now each hour space is again divided into 5 minute spaces. So totally in a clock you find 60 minute spaces. Now what would be the angle in each minute space? by 5, 6 degrees. Now each hour space has an angle of 30 degrees which is divided into 5 equal parts. So each part will have an angle of 6 degrees. So every minute space has an angle of 6 degrees. Now this is the basic information about a clock. Now the point which will help us to answer this question without using a formula. Now the point here is in 60 minutes, that is in 1 hour, the hour hand rotates through an angle of 30 degrees. If suppose the hour hand is at 12, after 1 hour it will be at 1, again after 1 hour it will be at 2, again after 1 hour it will be at 3 and so on. So for every 1 hour the hour hand rotates through an angle of 30 degrees. Now in 1 minute the hour hand rotates through an angle of. Now we came to know that in 60 minutes the hour hand rotates through an angle of 30 degrees. In 1 minute how many degrees will the hour hand rotate? It should be 30 by 60, half degree. Now this is a point, an important point which will help us to answer this question without using a formula, that for every minute the hour hand rotates through an angle of half degree. Now let us try to solve the problem. Now the given time here is 3:25. At 3:25 the minute hand is exactly at 5 and the hour hand will be in between 3 and 4. Now we need to find out this angle, that is the angle between minute hand and hour hand. Now exactly at 3 o'clock this hour hand should be exactly at 3. Now the angle between 3 and 5 will be 60 degrees because you have 2 hour spaces and every hour space has an angle of 30 degrees. Now just by using the common sense we will come to know that our answer will be less than 60 degrees. So to tell our answer we need to subtract this angle. Now this angle depends upon how many minutes have passed after 3. Because exactly at 3, this hour hand should be exactly at 3. But it is in between 3 and 4 because 25 minutes have passed after 3. And we came to know that for every 1 minute, the hour hand will rotate through an angle of half degree. So in 25 minutes, the hour hand should rotate through an angle of 25 into half, that is 12.5 degrees. So this angle here is 12.5 degrees. So the answer for our question 60 minus 12.5, answer is 47.5 degrees. Now this is a method which you can use to tell the answer for this question without using a formula. Now you can test yourself whether you can solve a problem, same type of problem, without using a formula. Suppose I ask you a question, what is the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 120? Take your time, try to answer this question in 10 to 15 seconds. The solution for this problem, what is the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 120? At 120, the minute hand is exactly at 4 and the hour hand is in between 1 and 2. Exactly at 1 o'clock, this hour hand should be exactly at 1 and the angle between 1 and 4 will be 90 degrees. Because we have 3 hour spaces in between 1 and 4, 30, 30, 30, 90. Now from this 90 degrees, we need to subtract this angle to tell the answer for our question. That is the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 120. Now this angle depends upon how many minutes have passed after 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, 20 minutes have passed. And we know that for every 1 minute, hour hand rotates half degrees. In 20 minutes, the hour hand should rotate through an angle of 10 degrees. So this angle is 10 degrees. So the answer for our question, 90 minus 10, 80 degrees. Now we can solve one more problem, similar type of problem. What is the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 5:15? What is the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 5:15? Take your time, 10 seconds to 15 seconds to answer this question. Now at 5:15, the minute hand is exactly at 3, the hour hand is in between 5 and 6. Exactly at 5 o'clock, this hour hand will be exactly at 5. Now the angle between 3 and 5 will be 60 degrees because you have 2 hour spaces in between 3 and 5. But if I use my common sense, I will come to know that the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 5:15 will be greater than 60. So to tell the answer for this question, I need to add this angle. And that angle depends upon how many minutes have passed after 5. Because exactly at 5, the hour hand should be exactly at 5. But now the hour hand is in between 5 and 6. Now why is it in between 5 and 6? Because 15 minutes have passed after 5. Now in 15 minutes, the hour hand should rotate through an angle of 7.5 degrees. So the angle between minute hand and hour hand at 5:15 would be 67.5 degrees. Now this is a method we use to tell the answer for this question without using a formula. At what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Once again, to solve this problem, we have 2 different methods. One is by a formula, second one without a formula. Now the formula we have already learned to find out the angle. Now what is the difference between the first question and the second question till now we have discussed? In the first question, we are given the time and we are asked to find out the angle. Now in this second question, we are given the angle. Now you may be thinking, what is the angle? Now at what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Now when the minute hand and hour hand coincide, definitely the angle between the minute hand and hour hand should be 0 degrees. Now because we already know the formula to tell the answer for this, so one way of solving this problem is by using the formula. Now let us see how to solve this problem by using that formula. Now the formula we know to find out the angle between minute hand and hour hand is 30h minus 11 by 2 m under modulus. Now according to the question given to us, this 30h minus 11 by 2 m under modulus should be equal to 0, because if the minute hand and hour hand coincide, the angle between them will be 0 degrees. Now what is the value of h? We need to substitute here. The question is in between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. In between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, the hour hand will always represent 4. So 30 into 4 minus 11 by 2 m is equal to 0. 120 minus 11 by 2 m equal to 0. 11 by 2 m equal to 120. M is equal to 240 by 11. Solving this, we get 21/9 by 11 minutes. So at 4:21:09 by 11 minutes, at 4:21:09 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand coincide. Now the answer should be written in mixed fraction itself, because our options whenever we are given this question in an exam will be in mixed fraction. So please don't try to find out the answer in decimals. One more same type of problem with a different time. The next question, at what time between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? So try to solve this problem by using the formula. 30 into 8 minus 11 by 2 m equal to 0. 11 by 2 m equal to 240. M is equal to 480 by 11, which is 43/7 by 11. So at 8:43:07 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand coincide. Now let us discuss one more problem of the same type. Let us discuss the next question in this chapter. At what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other? Now if the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other, the angle between the two hands should be 180 degrees. Now based upon the formula, let us try to answer the question. The formula: modulus of 30h minus 11 by 2 m. According to the given question, this value should be equal to 180 degrees, because the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other. Now what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is 30h minus 11 by 2 m can be plus 180, or 30h minus 11 by 2 m can be minus 180. Now let us try to solve this problem. Now the value of h, because the time is in between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, the value of h should be taken as 4. So 30 into 4 minus 11 by 2 m equal to 180. 120 minus 180 is equal to 11 by 2 m, or m is equal to 120 minus 180 is minus 60 into 2, minus 120 by 11. But time can never be negative, so it's a wrong answer. Now let us take minus 180 and solve this problem. 30 into 4 minus 11 by 2 m equal to minus 180. 120 plus 180 is 11 by 2 m, or m is equal to 120 plus 180, 300 into 2, 600 by 11. Solving this, we get 54 6 by 11 minutes. So at 4:54, 6 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand will be opposite to each other. Now, till now we have solved question number 2, 3 and 4 by using a formula, that is 30h minus 11 by 2m under modulus. Now, how to solve the same problems without using a formula? Let us try to learn this. Now, question number 2 is, at what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Question number 3 is, at what time between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Question number 4 is, at what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other? Now, we are going to solve these 3 problems without using a formula, by using a simple common sense. Along with that, we use a method to solve this problem. Now, coming to the first question, at what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Now, generally if you look into a watch, minute hand moves faster than hour hand. So, generally minute hand, it comes and coincides with the hour hand and it goes away. Now, when I talk about the first question, at what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Definitely in between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the hour hand is in between the numbers 4 and 5. Now, the minute hand has to come and coincide with the hour hand in between the numbers 4 and 5. Now, this is a simple common sense that our answer should lie between 20 and 25. Now, the method to tell the answer for this. Now, in this 4 and 5, what is the smallest number? 4. 4 represents how many minutes? 20 minutes. So, my answer will be directly 20 by 11. Now, this 20 by 11 is a improper fraction which need to be converted into mixed fraction. If I convert 20 by 11 into mixed fraction, it is 1 9 by 11. Add that 1 to this 20, so your answer becomes 21 9 by 11 minutes. So, at 4, 21 9 by 11 minutes, they coincide. Now, you can see the answer without using a formula. Now, let us try to answer third question without using the formula. That is, at what time between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand coincide? In between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, the hour hand will be between the numbers 8 and 9. So, the minute hand will come and coincide with the hour hand in between the numbers 8 and 9. So, a simple common sense is my answer should lie in between 40 and 45. Now, the shortcut. In this 8 and 9, the smallest number is 8. It represents 40 minutes. So, my answer is 40 by 11. Now, this 40 by 11 is a improper fraction. Let us try to convert into mixed fraction. 40 by 11 is 3 7 by 11. So, add that 3 to this 40, your answer is 43 7 by 11 minutes. So, at 8 43 7 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand coincide. Now, the third question, that is question number 4. Here the third question. Question number 4. At what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other? Now, in between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, the hour hand should lie in between the numbers 4 and 5. Now, generally if you look into the solution for this problem, which hand will give us the answer for the questions? Generally, the minute hand is giving us the answer for the questions. The answers for our questions are 21 9 by 11 minutes, 43 7 by 11 minutes, which are minutes. So, the answer is given by the minute hand. Now, the next question is, at what time between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other? The hour hand lies in between the numbers 4 and 5. To be opposite, the minute hand should be between the numbers 10 and 11. Now, the same method which we have used to solve the previous problems, the minute hand lies in between 10 and 11. Simple common sense is my answer lies between 50 and 55. Now, the solution for this problem. In this 10 and 11, what is the smallest number? 10. 10 represents how many minutes? 50 minutes. So, the answer is 50 by 11. Now, this 50 by 11 is an improper fraction. Convert into mixed fraction, 4 6 by 11. So, answer is 54 6 by 11 minutes. So, at 4:54 6 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other. Now, let us discuss the next question in this chapter. At what time between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock the minute hand and hour hand, first question, coincide, second one, are opposite to each other, third one, are at right angles. Try to apply the shortcut what we have used just now to solve the previous problems. If we apply the shortcut, in between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, where is the hour hand? Definitely in between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, the hour hand lies in between the numbers 7 and 8. Now, let us try to answer one by one. If the hour hand is in between the numbers 7 and 8, definitely the minute hand and hour hand will coincide in between the numbers 7 and 8. Now, in this 7 and 8, what is the smallest number? 7. 7 represents how many minutes? 35 minutes. So, your answer 35 by 11. Now, this 35 by 11 is 3 2 by 11. Add that 3 to this 35, it becomes 38 2 by 11 minutes. So, at 7:38 2 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand coincide. Now, the next question, at what time are they opposite to each other? If the hour hand is in between 7 and 8, to be opposite, the minute hand should be in between the numbers 1 and 2. Now, the shortcut. In this 1 and 2, what is the smallest number? 1. 1 represents 5 minutes. So, our answer 5 by 11 minutes. So, at 7 5 by 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other. Now, the third question, at what time are they at right angles to each other? Now, right angles is 90 degrees. 90 degrees is 3 hour spaces. Now, here also I am not going to use a formula, a simple common sense. Here we know that the hour hand should lie between 7 and 8. If suppose the hour hand lies exactly at 7, to be at right angles, the minute hand should lie exactly at 4, 30, 30, 30, exactly at 4, or it should lie exactly at 10, 30, 30, 30, 10. But this hour hand will not be exactly at 7. It lies in between 7 and 8. So, to be at right angles, the minute hand should lie between 4 and 5 or in between 10 and 11. So, right angles happens twice. First time is it happens in between 4 and 5, second time is it happens in between 10 and 11. So, if the minute hand is in between 4 and 5, then what is our answer? In 4 and 5, the smallest number is 4. 4 represents 20 minutes. Our answer is 20 by 11. 20 by 11 is 9 by 11 minutes. So, answer is 9 by 11 minutes. So, the first time they are at right angles at 9 by 11 minutes. But it happens again after coinciding. After coinciding, it happens between 10 and 11. In this 10 and 11, the smallest number is 10. 10 represents 50 minutes. So, our answer is 50 by 11 minutes, which is 54 6 by 11 minutes. So, at 4:54 6 by 11 minutes, they are at right angles to each other. Now, let us discuss the next type of problem in this chapter. In 12 hours, how many times do the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Generally, for every 1 hour, the minute hand and hour hand coincides. Not exactly at 1 hour. I mean to say, definitely they coincide between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5 and so on. But if you look into between 11 and 12, at what time will they coincide? Suppose a question is asked, in between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock, at what time do the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Now, if I use the shortcut what we have applied till now, it would be 55 by 11. 55 by 11 is 5, 55 plus 5 is 60. But we do not have any time called 11:60, so the time should be 12 o'clock. But according to the question, it is in between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So I cannot take 12 as my answer. In the same way, if I ask you, in between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, at what time do they coincide? In between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, if I want to find out at what time do they coincide, I have to take the smallest number of 12 and 1. The smallest number of 12 and 1 is not 1, it is 12, where I have to assume it as 0. So it becomes 0, 0 by 11. So once again, it's nothing but 12 o'clock. So in between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock, they do not coincide, and in between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock also, they do not coincide. But in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, they coincide once, that is exactly at 12 o'clock. So in these 2 hours, they will be coinciding once, but in the remaining 10 hours, they will be coinciding 10 times. So totally in 12 hours, how many times do the minute hand and hour hand coincide? The answer is 11 times. Now this question was asked many a times in many exams. Now let us discuss the next question in this chapter. After a regular interval of how many minutes do the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Now we know that the minute hand moves fast. The minute hand, it comes and coincides with the hour hand and it again goes away. Again it will come and coincide. Now the question is, after how many minutes will it come and coincide? Now to tell the answer for this question, there are two different ways. One is you can tell the answer generally. The second one is you can tell the answer based upon the answer we have written in the previous question. That is, in 12 hours, how many times do the minute hand and hour hand coincide? Let us first of all try to tell the answer in a general way. Now if I say general way, exactly at 12 o'clock, the minute hand and hour hand coincide. So exactly at 12 o'clock, the two hands are together. Now minute hand, it starts moving fast and hour hand will be moving slowly. Now by the time the minute hand comes back to 12, hour hand will be at 1. So already 60 minutes have passed, still they did not coincide. Now definitely the minute hand has to coincide with the hour hand and they coincide between 1 and 2. In between 1 and 2, at what time do the minute hand and hour hand coincide? If I use the shortcut, it should be 5 by 11 minutes. So the total time taken to coincide is 60 plus 5 by 11 minutes. So it is 65 5 by 11 minutes. Now this is one way in which we can tell the answer. Now the other way to tell the answer for this question. Now let us try to answer this question based upon the answer we have learned from the previous question. That is, in 12 hours, the minute hand and hour hand coincide 11 times. To coincide 11 times, the minute hand and hour hand take 12 hours. 12 hours is 720 minutes. So to coincide 11 times, the time taken is 720 minutes. Then to coincide one time, how many minutes will they take? 720 by 11. Solving this, we get 65 5 by 11 minutes. So the minute hand and hour hand coincide after every 65 5 by 11 minutes. Now let us discuss the next question in this chapter. If the minute hand and hour hand coincide after every 65 minutes, then how much time does the watch gain or lose in a day? Now we know that the minute hand and hour hand coincide after every 65 5 by 11 minutes. But here it is given if the minute hand and hour hand coincide after every 65 minutes. That means they are coinciding by taking a time less than 65 5 by 11 minutes. So definitely the watch is gaining, that is, it is moving fast. So how much time does it gain? The watch gains 5 by 11 minutes for every 65 minutes. For every 65 minutes of the actual time, the watch gains 5 by 11 minutes. Now the question is, how much time does the watch gain in a day? Now this is gain. In a day, that is in 24 hours, that is in 24 into 60 minutes, how much time does the watch gain? Now solving this, we get 24 into 60 into 5 by 11 by 65. 5 13ths, so it is 1440 by 143, which is 10 by 143 minutes. So if the minute hand and hour hand coincide after every 65 minutes, then the watch gains 10 by 143 minutes in a day. Thank you for watching. For more videos, subscribe at www.youtube.com/NareshIT.